Okay, so the next question number 13 is when 3 raised to power 1994 plus 2 is divided by 11, find the remainder. Let's see the solution of the given question. If we have 3 raised to power 5, the value of 3 raised to power 5 is given by 243. That will be gives remainder as 1 for mod 11. Therefore, 3 raised to power 1994 may be given as 3 raised to power 4 into 3 raised to power 1990. 3 raised to power 4 is equal to 81, and the remainder from 3 raised to power 1990 will be equal to 1. So that will give us 4 as the remainder when divided by 11. Therefore, the remainder when 3 raised to power 1994 plus 2 is divided by 11 will be equal to 6. That is the answer. Next, question number 14 is prove that summation of n factorial from n is equal to 14 up to 100 is divisible by 1001 but not by 1000. To solve the given question, let us have the factors of 1001 that can be given as 1001 is equal to 7 into 11 into 13. Therefore, every term of summation of n is equal to 14 to 100 for n factorial is divisible by 1001. The highest power of 5 which divides the first term is equal to 5 square which divides the first term, that means which divides the 14 factorial will be 5 square, because greatest integer of 14 upon 5 plus greatest integer of 14 upon 5 square plus dash 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 is equal to 2. Therefore 1000 does not divide 14 factorial, but every other term divisible by 1000. Therefore we can say that summation of n factorial from n is equal to 14 to 100 is not divisible by 1000. The next is question number 15, that is given as a sequence of numbers a0, a1, a2 dash 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 is defined as follows. A0 is equal to 0 for n is equal to 0, 1, 2 up to an plus 1. For an is equal to 0, 1, 2 all an plus 1 is equal to 3 of an plus 1. We have to show that a raised to power 1995 is divisible by 11, but a 1994 is not divisible by 11. To solve the given question, let us have from the relation an plus 1 is equal to 3an plus 1 for all n belongs to 0. It follows that for all n greater than 3, it follows that an is greater than 0 mod 11, then an plus 1 is equal to 1. From here we have an plus 2 is equal to 4, an plus 3 is equal to 2. These an plus 1, an plus 2, an plus 3 represents the remainder when they are divided by 11. An plus 4 gives 7 when divided by 11, and an plus 5 gives 0 when divided by 11. We have for all n greater than equal to 0, a5n gives 0 when divided by 11. यहाँ पे किसकी परमिशन है? And a 5n plus 4 always gives 7 for every value of n when divided by 11. Hence we can say that a raised to power 1995 is divisible by 11, but a 1994 is not. But A 1994 gives 7 when divided by 11. The next is question number 16, that is given to us as question number 16 is given to us as show that the difference of two consecutive cubes is a square, then it is the square of the sum of two successive squares. We have to show that if the difference of two consecutive cubes is a square, then it is the square of the sum of two successive squares. Okay, for a number small n, let's we have the difference of two successive cubes is equal to a, and suppose for a belongs to z, belongs to integer, a square is equal to n plus 1 whole cube minus n cube. So from here we have a square is equal to, from the identity a cube minus b cube is equal to a minus b into a square plus ab plus b square, we have a square is equal to 3n into n plus 1 plus 1. Let it be equation 1. Now from here we have 4a square minus 1 is equal to 12n into n plus 1 plus 3 by multiplying the equation 1 by 4 we have. Now this can also be written as 3 into 4n square plus 4n plus 1. By factorizing this we will have 2a minus 1 into 2a plus 1 is equal to 3 into 2n plus 1 whole square. From here we can say that either 3 divides 2a minus 1 or 3 divides 2a plus 1. Therefore either 3 divides 2a plus 1 or 3 divides 2a minus 1. If 3 divides 2a minus 1, then we can say that 2a minus 1 will be equal to 3m for some integer m. Then 3m into 2a plus 1 is equal to 3 into 2n plus 1 whole square. That will be equal to m 2a plus 1 is equal to 2n plus 1 whole square. Since we know that m and 2a plus 1 are relatively prime, so we can say that either 2a minus 1 or 2a plus 1 is equal to 1. 2a plus 1, from here we have 2a plus 1 is an odd square. Say 2r plus 1's whole square, then we can say that a is equal to 2r square plus 2r is even. That is a contradiction, because by equation 1 a square was odd, that means 3 does not divide 2a minus 1, but therefore 3 divides 2a plus 1. Now proceeding as above, we see that 2a minus 1 is equal to 2r plus 1's whole square for some r belongs to integer, that is a is equal to r square plus r plus 1's whole square. Let us move to the next question. The next question is given as question number 17, that is determine the set of integers n for which n square plus 19n plus 92 is a square. To solve the given question, let us have n square plus 19n plus 92 is a square of a number m. So let us denote by n square plus 19n plus 92 is equal to m square, where m is a non-negative integer. Then we can say that n square plus 19n plus 92 minus m square is equal to 0. Now by solving for n, we get n is equal to half of minus 19 plus minus root 4m square minus 7 by quadratic formula. Therefore we can say that 4m square minus 7 is a square, as n is a integer, so 4m square minus 7 must be a square term. That is, we can say that 4m square minus 7 is equal to p square, where p belongs to natural number. So 2m minus p into 2m plus p is equal to 7. Now as m and p both are positive, so 2m minus 1 must be is equal to 1, and this would be equal to 7. By solving for both of the equations, we have that m is equal to 2. From here we will have m is equal to 2. So we can say that by substituting the value of m, we have n square plus 19n plus 92 is equal to 4. From here we have n square plus 19n plus 88 is equal to 0. From here we'll have n plus 8 into n plus 11 is equal to 0, or we can say that n is equal to minus 8 or minus 11. Okay, let us move to our next question. Question number 18. Question number 18 is given as, show that the sum of any two consecutive odd primes is the product of at least three primes which need not to be distinct. To solve the given question, we have, let P1 and P2 be two consecutive odd primes. Since P1 and P2 are odd, so P1 plus P2 is even. If P1 plus P2 is even, then we can say that half of P1 plus P2 will belong to an integer. Further, we can say that half of P1 plus P2 being in between the consecutive primes P1 and P2. As it is the average of P1 and P2, so it will lie between P1 and P2. And P1 plus P2 upon 2 is a composite number. If P1 plus P2 is a composite number, then therefore we have P1 plus P2 is equal to 2. So P1 plus P2 upon 2 has at least 3 prime factors. Here P1 plus P2 will have more than 2 factors. P1 plus P2 will have more than 2 factors. Let us move to our next question. Question number 19, that is given to us as, we have given that if n is a positive integer such that n upon 810 is equal to 0.d25, d25, d25, where d is a single digit in base 10, we have to find the value of n. Now, as we have that n upon 810 is equal to this number, then by cross multiplication we can say that n is equal to 810 into 0.d25, d25, d25. From here we can have that 1000 n is equal to 810 into d25.d25, d25, and so on. By subtracting both the equations, we have 999 n is equal to 810 into d25. By dividing the given equation by 27, we will have 37n is equal to 30 into d25. From here we have that 37 must be divisible by d25, which is possible only when d is equal to 9. So the value of n will be given as 30 into 925 upon 37, that is equal to 750. Let us move to our next question. Question number 20, that is given to us as, question number 20 is to find the smallest positive integer which cannot be the exterior angle in degrees of a regular polygon. To solve this, let's q and n, two numbers belonging to natural numbers, and small n is greater than or equal to 3. We know that the exterior angle of a regular polygon with n sides is theta degree if and only if n into theta is equal to 360 degree. We know that the exterior angle of the regular polygon with n sides is given by theta degree if and only if n into theta is equal to 360 degree, where n is the number of sides of the polygon. Hence, what we need is the least positive integer which does not divide 360. Hence, we have to find the least positive integer which does not divide 360 degree, which does not divide 360 degree, that is 7. That is our answer.